Just since 1938, Matson and the Adahi Tano program, Cars Plus, drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Now on Primetime, a death investigation is ongoing at an apartment building down in Santa Rita. Plus, it's back to face-to-face instruction for a few public schools and Catholic schools today. And a report on GovGuam's COVID-19 payroll expenses has been released by the Office of Public Accountability, and it's raising a few questions.
Hafa and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. We begin the newscast in Santa Rita, where this afternoon the Guam Police Department responded to a report of a dead body of a 61-year-old man at the Vallis Apartments. The man was discovered by his wife. GPD's Criminal Investigation Division has been activated and was seen earlier speaking with those who reside in the complex and neighbors to see if they heard or saw anything. GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau.
A little bit after 2 o'clock this afternoon, our officers from the Southern Precinct Command received an information of a lifeless male located in this an apartment unit right behind me. This is an ongoing case. We are still very early in this investigation as we move forward with this death investigation. So as of right now, as you can see, we have our detectives from CID here and also our crime scene investigators, and they're going to be saturating the area, interviewing neighbors, interviewing tenants within the apartment complex.
An autopsy is pending and the investigation is ongoing. For the full interview with Sergeant Tapau, head over to KUAM News' Facebook page. An audit report released today on the government of Guam's COVID-19 payroll expenses questions the legality of payments made to elected officials and unclassified employees. The OPA report also seeks the AG's opinion on whether more than $2 million in double pay for utility agency employees also needs to be paid back. Nestor Lecanto has more.
The 84-page performance audit was focused on pandemic-related pay for GovGuam workers between March 14 and May 11th of 2020, the first 2 months of the public health emergency declaration by the governor. In particular, the OPA report highlighted some $2.5 million in double pay for GPA and GWA employees and $10.4 million paid out in differential pay to employees of 45 different departments and agencies, on top of the regular pay. Of that $10.4 million, the OPA says 26 departments and agencies paid 25% differential pay, totaling $2 million, while 34 departments and agencies paid out a total of $4.9 million in what the report calls other pay. The agencies also paid out 15% and 10% differential pay, totaling more than $1.5 million. But the report also goes on to identify 54 unclassified employees, including department and agency heads and elected and appointed officials, who received $176,000 in COVID-related compensation. The OPA says this is an apparent violation of Guam law, which prohibits bonus payments for unclassified employees. However, the OPA says federal appropriations allowed the governor to enforce a differential pay policy. In fact, $29 million of the $118 million in CARES Act funding Guam received was budgeted for COVID pay for public safety, health, and human services. The governor issued an executive order at the time implementing a differential pay policy for employees working in those areas. The policy identified staggered percentages based on the degree of exposure to the virus. Public Auditor B.J. Cruz is seeking an Attorney General's opinion, and AG Leven Camacho has advised that his office is, quote, currently involved in pending litigation which may clarify the issues. Meanwhile, both GPA and GWA have also responded to Cruz, defending their use of double pay. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The full audit report is available on the OPA website. We also plan to have Public Auditor B.J. Cruz as a guest on Wednesday's The Link multimedia show. The Joint Information Center was notified that Guam's 128th COVID-19 related fatality occurred at the Guam Regional Medical City on January 17th at approximately 10:36 p.m. The patient was a 39-year-old male with underlying health conditions. He was admitted to GRMC on January 15, 2021, and tested positive upon admission. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero saying, quote, "There is no dawning without night. As we mourn the loss of another to this virus, we cannot let ourselves become complacent. This virus does not rest, and neither shall we. To those who loved him, Jeff, Lieutenant Governor Josh, and I send our deepest condolences and sympathies for your loss," unquote. The JIC also reports that out of 291 test samples, 1 came back positive. Currently, there are 7 patients hospitalized, 3 receiving ICU level of care, and 3 on ventilator support. To date, there have been a total of 7,485 officially reported cases of COVID-19, with 128 deaths, 137 cases in active isolation, and 7,220 not in active isolation. The COVID area risk score is 1.2. Guam will be taking part in a nationwide tribute commemorating the lives lost to COVID-19. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. at the Laddie of Freedom, all churches are asked to observe the tolling of the bells in honor of each life lost to COVID-19. All government agencies, businesses, and organizations are asked to pause and observe a moment of silence. Joining the Biden-Harris Presidential Inaugural Committee, the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration will gather in the parking lot of the Laddie of Freedom and observe the bell tolls and moment of silence. You can watch live on the governor's Facebook page. As more testimony is heard, more names are revealed from the night of Keith Castro's death. Today was day 2 of murder defendant Joshua Palacios' trial. The government began calling up witnesses present from the crime scene. There were multiple individuals at the Jigo residence where Keith Castro was murdered. They include the man on trial accused for his death, Joshua Palacios. The other defendant accused of having a role in the crime, Thomas Taitano. As for the named witnesses thus far, Matthew Sablan, Jaylene Cruz-Cabe, Renato Dorian, and Leonila Vasquez. In court today, it was learned that on July 28, 2019, there was a lot of activity at Matthew Sablan's home in Jigo. It was here that Castro was allegedly beaten by Taitano and then fatally shot by Palacios. Vasquez testified she pulled up to the house with Taitano for a drug-related exchange.
We went to Matt Sablan's house, and he offered us, he told us about the counselor that he was pregnant. He was able to get us for in exchange for dope. Okay. And when you say dope, what do you want?
As we reported, Vasquez is Taitano's girlfriend, and early into his court case, she attempted to become a third-party custodian for the defendant. Taitano has since pled guilty to aggravated assault charges for striking Castro with a metal baton. He entered a cooperation agreement and is expected to testify during Palacios' trial. Vasquez was asked by the government to recall the witness report she gave to the Guam Police Department, particularly regarding the gunshot.
Ms. Rogers, do you recall at that time writing that Josh had become? That you said he was the only one still fighting people. Do you recall writing those words? No, all I do recall saying that he was the only one standing there, and everybody else, when somebody was off, they scared to scatter. You hear it, you run, and that's what everybody did to set up him. And when you say that for example, Josh. So everybody gathered at that place. So when you wrote these words, that he was holding a gun, you don't recall writing those words? No, I did recall telling officers that. Who else is going to go in? Who else would be there? So what's going on there? I don't know. I guess because he's almost standing there. That's what I thought.
Similarly, having a tough time recalling his interview with police officers from that night was witness Renato Dorian. He testified that the first time he went to Sablan's home was 1 week prior, and within the 1 week, he visited the house 3 times, including the night Castro was killed. Dorian was hesitant with his answers, however he testified that he heard 2 gunshots that evening and saw Taitano attack Castro. As for the shooter,
you now identify the person who shot Castro as John Lavalda. You cannot recall? Did you say you cannot recall? If a police officer was to say you did, back it up and identify John Lavalda as the shooter, would that police officer be lying?
Dorian testified that he was there to get his vehicle, the Toyota Tundra that was parked at Sablon's house. Trial continues tomorrow morning in Judge Vern Perez' courtroom. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years,
Travel's Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings. Nacho fries.
Escape your cravings with our nacho fries box. Run to Taco Bell.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. After almost half a school year of online learning, Santa Barbara was finally able to open their doors and welcome their students back to campus. Tyler Matanani was in Dededo to see how the Spartans' first day went.
Although we couldn't see their faces, we know there were many smiles under their masks. It's been 5 months since students were able to be on campus. Today, 73% of K-4 through 3rd grade students returned to face-to-face learning. Santa Barbara Principal Sister Maria Gaidi.
I was very happy, and because I saw the smiles on the faces and the excitement on the looks of our students as well as the parents. So they're also excited to be back, and they were saying that it's been a long 5 months really of distance learning. If you're face to face with your student, it really makes a big difference, both on the part of the teachers and the students.
It's a gradual but necessary return. After 2 weeks, when they've been able to iron out a few details, they'll be expecting the return of grades 4 through 8.
As I was looking at the survey that we sent to the parents, it seems like, some of our junior high students are a little bit anxious about returning to in-school learning. So we are there. You're really trying to encourage them to come back because we have all the protocols in place. We've had the place sanitized, and we're observing all the guidelines really that has been given to us.
The school is still waiting on supplies that are expected to be given through the CARES Act, which includes additional HEPA filters for classrooms, webcams, and sneeze guards. Thankfully, some parents have opted to purchase their child's sneeze guards, and in the meantime, the school is taking matters into their own hands.
We're not waiting for them to arrive, but we're actually have bought some of these items already so that we can, start making sure that our school is ready and that, our teachers also will feel more confident and more safe.
With signs and sanitizing stations set up throughout the campus, SBCS was able to make even recess fun whilst following safety protocols.
Some of them are actually seated and waiting for probably their turn to also play in the playground and all that stuff. So the teachers are really are conscious and are aware of making sure that the kids are safe. So, I'm happy that so far it's so good. They're doing well.
Sister Maria is ensuring parents that may feel anxious about their child returning to school that they're taking all of the measures they can possibly take to guarantee the safety of both their students and staff.
Now, as you can see, Santa Barbara is taking all safety precautions to ensure the health and safety of all their students, both inside the classroom and out. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matsinani.
Thank you, Tyler. And tune in tomorrow on Breeze 93.9's The Link as we catch up with Catholic School Superintendent Dr. Juan Flores to find out how other schools are handling the return of students, as well as GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez to give his updates on Guam's public schools. On Saturday, GDOE Board Chairperson Maria Gutierrez took it upon herself to go around the island to check on grass maintenance at schools, but she felt there were more pressing issues to address. Tyler Matsinani has the story.
Rusty nails, broken floors, and exposed rebar are just some of the health and safety hazards GDOE Chairperson Maria Gutierrez found as she went around the island to find many of Guam's bus stops in horrible condition.
I was convinced that we're ready, but something is missing. And I said, wait a minute. What about the bus stops? Bus shelters? How well are they? How prepared are they?
Based on photos taken by Gutierrez, the state of neglect was obvious. On the hunt to find as many poor condition bus stops as possible, she came across a concrete bus shelter that had been built 2 years ago. Right next to it, an old wooden one with nails sticking out.
What would happen if any of the kids touch that? Then going and further up in a wooden bus stop, it's nice, it's painted, but when I went further up, the floor is all warped.
One big question posed is who is responsible for the management of village bus stops. According to Gutierrez, though the blame is always placed on the Department of Education, it's definitely not their responsibility.
So Mayor's Council and DPW and the Island Beautification Task Force have to get together once and for all and address this. Who is responsible for the bus stop? Because there's bus stop here in Route 16 that is right next to the road.
But according to DPW Deputy Director Jesse Garcia, it's not Public Works' task either.
When DPW places the bus shelter out there, okay, the bus shelters are not a funded program in DPW. It has to be a community thing. It's not only school students using it. You got the homeless using it. You got different people using it. So, it has to be a group effort.
Gutierrez came to find out that some of the bus stops were adopted. She suggests that if that's the case, the Island Beautification Task Force needs to take on the mission of contacting the organizations to call them out.
What are the requirements when they request that they want to adopt the bus stop? Is just to put their logo, their name there, but they don't do anything after that? I don't think that should be. They should continue to keep up that maintenance of that bus stop that they adopt.
Gutierrez says she understands the village mayors have a lot of work, but must work congruently with DPW along with the Island Beautification Task Force to address the safety hazard.
I know a lot of mayors are doing their best in their villages, keeping up their bus stops, cleaning everything. If you're in that area, just pass by the schools and please look, because our kids are coming back. They're excited to come back.
After calling out the village mayors on the link this morning, Gutierrez says Dededo Vice Mayor Peter Beneventi has been working with DPW on bus stop maintenance, including repairing the flooring of one of the bus stops. Mongmong Totomaiti Mayor Rudy Paco had also sent out his personnel to clean and sanitize the shelters, but she still has yet to hear back from anyone else. She says she will return to the bus stops in the days ahead because of the huge safety hazard it poses. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matsinani.
The stray dog issue on island has been a problem for decades, but Mayor's Council of Guam President Jesse Alex says he's confident he's got the right people in place to hopefully make some real progress. Here's more.
Every village you go to and every street you take, chances are you'll see at least a couple of stray dogs. And while man's best friend is a joy to have as a pet, for many people, the stray dog population is seen as a nuisance and to some, a potential danger to the community. Mayor's Council of Guam President Jesse Alec.
we've had the Stray Animal Roundup Committee for I don't know how many years. I mean, I've been involved with the council for, since the 90s, right. And I've heard about it since then. And we've really never had, it hasn't been consistent in as far as its duties and its responsibilities and its outcome.
Recently, the Mayor's Council began their prep work for the Stray Dog Roundup by repairing kennels and cleaning up the facility at Guam Animals in Need in Jigo. Committee Chairperson Mongmong Totu Mighty Mayor Rudy Paco says he was ready to get things started today.
My plan of attack was to work on certain villages at a time. If each mayor would drop a trap to a certain village, we were supposed to actually start with Santa Rita, but we were assuming that when we repair the kennels, we can start the roundup. But according to GAIN, they need to sterilize the kennels. So we have to put that on hold right now. I was looking forward in starting today, which is Tuesday. I was looking forward to bring traps down to Santa Rita and start the program as soon as possible, because I don't care if all we catch is 10 dogs, 11 dogs, or whatever we catch in Santa Rita, but at least that's 10 dogs off the street.
And while it's somewhat of a normal thing on island to see dogs without leashes roaming around the neighborhood, Mayor Alex says they'll be handing out citations to owners who don't properly leash and care for their dogs.
When we go out, we're going to have our citations with us, and it's not because we want to give them fines, but everyone just needs to follow the law. When people refer to the first citation that I gave a year ago, you know what? That entire street was happy, because that entire street was finally able to walk on that street and walk to the bus stop and not fear for their child's life.
Due to the unexpected setbacks, Mayor Paco says he's planning another meeting between the Department of Agriculture and GAIN to help get everyone on the same page and proceed with the project. For Guam's News Network, I'm Jonagan Charfres.
Coming up after the break, we have national headlines. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years, with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
We've made a lot of breakfasts, and along the way, we noticed something was missing. A warm cinnamon roll for breakfast, or with breakfast. A fluffy blueberry muffin from the drive-thru you're already driving through. A glazed apple fritter, which might find its way into your coffee. These are options every breakfast haver should have, and now they do. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangaihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Welcome back. Security is incredibly tight throughout Washington 2 days before President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. A false alarm over a fire near the Capitol triggered a brief lockdown this morning as tensions remain high. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand reports on the preparations for Wednesday's events from Washington.
The Capitol complex went on temporary lockdown and an inauguration rehearsal was evacuated. It turned out to be a small fire under a nearby highway, but the scare illustrates the heightened state of security in Washington, D.C. Law enforcement and National Guard troops from states across the country are still arriving at the nation's capital ahead of Wednesday's inauguration. President-elect Joe Biden will take the oath of office outside on the West Front, despite the continued security threats in the wake of this month's attack on the Capitol. But access to the public is limited between the security concerns and the pandemic. Even the 20,000 plus troops that have come here to help stand guard must undergo screening. The National Guard says if there's any indication of extremist views, it would be handed over to law enforcement or handled within the chain of command. More than 20 current or former members of the U.S. military or law enforcement have been identified as being at or near the riot on January 6th. Jim McDonnell is the former L.A. County Sheriff.
This is a very, very important day in American history, and we all have an obligation to ensure that it is as safe as possible for everybody, not only in D.C., but across the United States as well.
Less than 48 hours before he's set to be sworn in, President-elect Biden visited a food bank in Philadelphia in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, packing boxes on this day of service. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Coming up after the break, your birthday shout-outs. Don't go away.
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
For keeping us in touch every day,
for every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner,
to keep my knowledge updated.
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings. Nacho fries.
Escape your cravings with our nacho fries box. Raw to Taco Bell.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy Tuesday birthday on this January 19th to Jennifer Lynn Lazama. Happy birthday blessings to Jen. Love, your very proud and adoring familia. Happy birthday number 50 to Antoinette Sanchez. To my wife, a wonderful mommy and amazing grandma. Thank you for all you do for us. We love you very much. Love always, says your family, and you get the really big pink heart emoji, and that's super special. Belated birthday wishes also going out to Jess Lamb, born on January the 16th. Happy birthday, Jess. We love you, say B and the family. Radel Alforque, born on the 16th as well. Happy birthday to the best daddy ever. Enjoy this special day of yours with many more to come. We love you, say Marissa, Evan Joe Fidel, and Riley Jade. And born on January the 17th, Violetta Toves. Happy birthday to Mom and Grandma, with lots more blessings and lots of love from the families.
That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thank you for watching and have a good night.